Hey, this is Melissa Bonny, and you're listening to Interview Under Fire.
Dragon with a snake bite.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to a brand new episode of Interview on Fire. Your one and only host here, Sunny. Excuse me, I'm so excited. Sunny here, back here once again. Hope you guys are doing well out there. Today, I am so excited to welcome someone back to the show. Actually, someone whose voice has become a defining force in modern metal. If you don't know, I mean, I don't know what you're missing out on, but joining me once again is the phenomenal Melissa Bonny. I mean, last time we talked, Melissa, was back in 2021 during the Ad Infinitum cycle, right? And now you're stepping into this powerful new chapter with your first ever solo album, Cherry Red Apocalypse, set to drop this January. Huge congrats in order
Thank
first,
you.
because fans have been, I mean, I've seen fans have been buzzing like nonstop about this next evolution and everything you've been creating behind the scenes. There's a lot to catch up on, a lot to dive into. I'm stoked that you're back with me talking about this. Have I even asked how are you yet? How are you, Melissa?
Yeah.
Now that the solo announcement has been out for a little while, how have things been? Has it sunk in? Are you still having those pinch me moments? Watching these reactions roll in, because as we're talking, they're still rolling in. So
Yeah.
go
I
ahead.
I'm just excited. I'm of course a little nervous because it's different than what I've been doing before, and I'm releasing it on my own, out of my own choice. So obviously it's like there's a lot more control, if you can call it like this, and a lot more of my own doing behind every step of the way, but
Yeah,
also a lot more responsibility and a lot of more work to do this on my own. And it's, every little thing, like getting the vinyls distributed, getting the CDs, the everything. Like, it's interesting to somehow do the work that usually is done by the label, and
yeah,
to get to understand it completely. And it's also very rewarding to say I did this.
yeah. I was gonna ask, like, what kind of creative freedom did going solo, right, allow you to, maybe, that you don't always have in like your band projects. Like, I feel like this is something you were able to tap into, like another dimension of Melissa that you weren't able to tap into with, either Ad Infinitum or Even More or Rage of Light,
Yeah.
Dark Side of the Moon, even. Would
Yeah.
you agree or disagree to that?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
did I
No, no,
hear
no, no,
what?
no, 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 no. I mean, like with your bands, right? But
Yeah.
you do the music with your bands, but then you're doing something that's solo. You're able to do something solo that you can't reach
Mm,
with your bands
yeah.
originally, right? Like
Yeah,
mentally,
exactly.
you're just it's like you're something else when you're doing it solo. It's like you feel more yourself, in other words.
I would not call it more of myself, because I'm very much myself also with my bands,
Yeah.
but there's no expectations because no one asked for this album. and and there's also no, like, for example, when I release music with Ad Infinitum, we are a modern metal band.
Yeah.
So there's, even though um we take a lot of freedom in what we're doing and what we're writing, and like the way we write, the things we write, there's a lot of freedom and there's a lot of wiggle room between modern metal and whatnot. But with this album, I've been able to go further with this and to do some things that would never ever fit with any of my bands. And I don't label this album in any way, so I hope
Yeah.
people will I hope neither will people, like, oh, this is that type of album. No, this is my album, and there's songs like I'm a Monster, Snake Bite, but there's also songs like Snow on Mars, which I just released, which is
Yeah.
completely different.
Great song,
And
by the way.
thank you. And people will see also when the entire album is out that I've been further in different directions as well. while keeping it one album for sure, but like playing with more organic stuff. For example, in songs like Highs and Lows or Mama Let Me Go, and songs that are more funky, like I Don't Like You, and it's basically all the things that I'm I was excited to write but couldn't write. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think you broke up just for a little bit. I got you back. Okay. No, yeah. I love that feedback, and it really, I think it really shows a lot of, evolution in the music that you're creating too. And can you see me? Are you good? I want to make sure.
I can
Hold on.
see you, but I have a bit of a lag right now. So I wonder if my computer is doing something weird. Just one second.
Yeah, you're good.
Ugh. Okay, it should be fine now.
Yeah, yeah, I got you. Okay, so I want to make a quick note because as you're telling me this information, I am 99% sure this album is dropping on your birthday. Is it not?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, I knew her birthday was in January, but I didn't know what day. When it's 23rd, I was like, hold on, let me just make sure. And man, it's like perfect timing. Like you couldn't have like just placed this any better. But
Yeah,
um
I agree.
and I know this is your, talking about your first solo album. I want to wind the clock back just a little bit if that's possible because hearing you like when you sing Melissa, I feel like you have this mezzo soprano voice, um,
Mhm.
dominant actually, but the ability to switch over between clean and guttural vocals. I don't know how you do that, by the way. That's some of the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. I keep that going because that is a talent that just
Thank
seems
you.
it's really unmatched. You know, I don't think I had the chance to ask you this last time, and I don't know if you maybe get a chance to talk about this as much, and if we can shed a little bit more light to it, is your influences, Melissa, whether they're personal influences, whether they're professional influences,
Mm.
who are they, Melissa, and what do they mean to you? If you can maybe name drop a few people who mean a lot to you.
I think it evolved or changed a lot through the years.
Yeah.
If you go back to uh the first years of me learning how to sing, it will be very different answers than right now. Because I had posters of Britney Spears and Shakira in my room, Rihanna later on. Now there are bands that I feel like I learn a lot from by listening to their production, the way they record vocals. Bad Omens is one of them. I I love this band and their songs, and I've seen them live for the first time this summer, and it was just perfect.
I hear a lot of
um,
good things about that band. Like I have yet to see them,
yeah.
so I have some great friends who recommend that I need to go see them. And now you're saying
Oh
that, so
yeah.
okay, now I have to go see them. So
Go see them. It's phenomenal.
yeah. Anyway,
Um,
I didn't mean to cut you off, but it's so interesting that you mentioned Van Opens, but yeah,
no, but it's and it's also not only in metal. For example, um, I really I really listen to all kinds of music, and I like to learn from other genres because I feel like, especially vocally, um, I find a lot of inspiration in people like Lady Gaga, for example, who is a phenomenal artist as well, and
yeah,
not just the way she sings, but also the way she performs. Um, uh, who else? I mean, there's lots of people. Bring Me the Horizon is one of the bands also that I've been blown away by while seeing them live, and also I listen to tons of songs from them on a regular basis because it just makes me feel something. And seeing them live was also one of those things where I was like, okay, the way that they perform is, at least to me, so honest and so generous and
yeah,
so powerful. So yeah, that's three names that come to my mind, but it changes all the time. Like one another performer that I absolutely love is Hayley Williams and also Paramore, both like together and separately. Yeah, and I could go on and on
yeah,
because
yeah.
there's so many good artists and performers. And when you listen through this album, like for example, I was telling you that the song like "I Don't Like You" is a bit more funky. Well, it's directly inspired by the After Laughter era from Paramore, which is very like different.
Okay, that gives the song a little bit more depth now.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. You know what I love about your answer just now? You just named a couple of artists that mean a lot to you. I think it really should. I think it's amazing that not only is that you're releasing music, right? But you're also a fan of the music, Melissa.
Oh yeah.
We're talking about, yeah, we're doing a, conversation here about your album, but you're a fan of the music, and I think that really shows how much passion you have for creating something like this. And I'm go back to what I said earlier. How therapeutic is it for someone like you to see like Bad Omens on stage? I saw Bring Me the Horizon for the first time a couple months ago when they came through here in Dallas.
Oh wow.
And that was actually, if I'm not mistaken, that was their biggest North American show ever in their history here in
I'm not
Dallas.
sure. Okay.
Um, I'm pretty sure that was because they're starting their next cycle of that tour. Anyway,
Hmm.
but seeing something like that was on stage, I was as much focused on the fans as I was focused on, Oli and what he's doing on stage and his bandmates. But the connection that the band has with the fans, I can always see someone like you having that too. When I saw
Hmm.
you in Dallas a couple years ago, you guys had this connection to the fans that were just, dude, they were ready to like jump over the barricade. That's how much passion they had for, I know you were with Camelot, but like I'm talking about in that same realm of making music, with Camelot, and you were recognizable for Ad Infinitum and the stamp that you have made on the music industry. The camaraderie between bands and the fans, I think, can't be overlooked. And the bands that you mentioned have that same atmosphere, the connection that
Yeah.
Lady Gaga has to fans, Haley
Yeah.
Williams, Bad
Yeah.
Omens. And I think you have exactly that. That's like a sixth sense. I know you're talking about the music in general, but there's this part that I know that you have a similar like a similar talent that doesn't really get talked about is the connection that you have with the fans. So I just wanted to put that out there too. But
Thank you.
um and thank you for sharing your influences too, because I think it really shows a lot of again, a lot of growth and a lot of chemistry within the music that you've created. It even shows your upbringing, like what you listen to where you are now. And hey, keep those posters. Put like Lady Gaga next to like I don't know, like a Cannibal Corpse post or something like that, because you can sing the high, you can sing the low. Trust me. Um, going back to this being your first solo album, Melissa, what made you feel like, I guess, now was the right moment to step into a fully solo chapter? Because you've done and accomplished so many things prior to this. Was it something that just, okay, this is when I want to do it, or was it? I don't know if it was something like years ago that you were planning on. So I know the timeline can get a little tricky when it comes to that.
I've been planning it for a while, but it was never possible before. Um, I started writing some stuff in 2020, and then I started writing the first demos that actually made it on the album in 2023. And I did really the big part of the work about a year ago, after we finished touring at the end of the year, like when we were off until the next year.
Yeah.
um I had a lot more time and energy to do all of this, so I did a lot of songwriting. I really focused on this.
Anyway, going back to the Cherry Red Apocalypse theme, I was gonna ask if there's like a song that best represents the identity of the album. I don't know if you can pick a song that like represents it, or because
It's a bit
there's.
difficult to pick one song, to be honest, because there's a big part of the album which is somewhere between metal and pop rock,
Mhm.
and then there's the other songs.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna ask because this album does blend metal and pop rock and cinematic
Yeah.
elements. Um, let's try this question because since you can't, it is impossible to pick a song, right? It is, but it's a question. I like asking that question because that is also an answer. If you can't pick a song, oh my gosh, now you have to like actually really dive in the album. But having pop rock and metal and cinematic elements, I mean, was that fusion intentional from the start, Melissa, or was it something that happened naturally?
Um, It was so I can actually tell you about the story of why the album is called like this, and I
There we
guess
go.
it will kind of answer your question.
Okay.
Originally, when I when I was drafting the album, the working title was Shades because it was representing all the shades of what I am as an artist. And then I proceeded in, writing the whole album, and I wrote the song Cherry Red Apocalypse. Um, and so it started as a part of the lyrics. And then I was like, this is so cool. I need it to be the title of the song. So it became the title of the song. And I was like, no, wait, it's way too cool. I need it to be the title of the album because to me, Cherry Red Apocalypse is this duality between the sweetness of the cherry red, and the chaotic, apocalyptic part of this album. So there are songs that are very punky, or like, let's say, that have a lot of attitude,
Yeah.
and then you have songs that are very sweet or melancholic, and this is the perfect title for it, I would say.
And I think you nailed it right on the dot too when it comes to picking the title. And I
Thanks.
wonder, can you, I don't know if you can even say this. Were there any other working titles that you, I don't know if you can name that were
No,
just,
actually, it was Shades, and then it was Cherry Red Apocalypse.
wow. That I think that really shows how much dedication you had to something like this. I want to give a quick shout out to two people that you've worked with on this album. One of them I have actually interviewed in the past is Vikram Shankar.
Yeah,
And was it with Silent Skies? Is he still with Silent Skies? I can't
I think so.
remember. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, we were doing that album cycle, and then of course Jacob Hansen on production. Those two are people that you worked with. I
yeah,
wonder how did their roles like shape this overall all sound? Like did you go into the studio with a locked in sonic vision per se? Like or did Vikram and Jacob help you discover new directions along the way? Because it's one thing to write your, pen to paper, right? Your lyrics, but it's another thing to get the sound out. It's, and I feel like that's just that doesn't get talked about as much because producers, they work so hard to bring the sound out in the album that you want to make sure that you get the message across to whoever's listening to your music the right way.
yeah. So the way it happened is, um, Jacob recommended Vikram, and I had a call with him when we were
Hmm.
on tour with my band. We had a day off in somewhere in, I think somewhere in Utah. I'm not sure.
Oh, it was a North
We were,
American tour. Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. and and I had this call with Vic, and we were talking about the direction for the album and so on. And then whenever I was ready to send him demos, I because what I usually did was I created demos, then I worked with Morton, who recorded the drums, but who also helped shaping them um, in the process and during the work that I've done with Vikram. Morton was also very involved. Um, and so when we were ready with some demos, we sent them to Vikram, and he started working on them, and he sent back, like it's like whenever we send a demo, there's already vocals, drums,
Hmm.
or programmed drums in the process of the demo, guitars, bass, whatever. It's a good indication of where the song should go. But um Vic did the work of, for example, when I record a guitar, it's very basic. I'm not a guitar player. I'm just like, hey, this is where I'm going. And Vic did the work of rewriting those guitars, recording them for the actual album, samples, shape, soundscapes, arranging some stuff, or giving some ideas like, oh, maybe we could do this as an intro, or we could shorten this, or whatever. So the producer work.
Yeah.
And so he sends me back the first song, which I believe was I'm a Monster. And I was like, this is it. We need to work together. He understood so well what this album needed. And the collaboration was just so flawless and nice. And he's the nicest guy. And he's so good at what he does that he really transformed those ideas into the final product, if I may say.
Yeah.
um and we worked back and forth with him and Morton, and then with Jacob, and then with the guests, and that's how it went. And it was dream team.
Speaking of the
And
dream, no, go ahead and finish that part.
yeah,
What
and
you were
of
about to
course,
say.
sorry, and of course Jacob, um he was involved very early, but he mainly did the recordings of the vocals, of the drums, and the also some production and mix and mastering. And I've been working with Jacob since the first album of Ad Infinitum, and it's just, we he knows us, we know him. It just works. It's just perfect.
We talked about Jacob 4 years ago
Yeah,
on that ad infinitum cycle, and Jacob's work with, man, I've so aside from you, I've spoken to, Simone and Elise. They mention him, you know,
yeah,
and it's like I said, this guy is like, you're talking about Wizard of Oz. That is the Wizard of Oz. Like
yeah.
he has this sense of knowing how a musician needs to sound on an album. It's yeah, yeah. When you're on stage, that's one thing, but when you're actually like, I don't mean to sound, repetitive, but ex when you sound how you sound on an album, I feel like it's so hard to do, and he knows how to do it so well. Um, I don't know if you
Isn't the
want.
Wizard of Oz a bit of a fraud though? Because Jacob definitely isn't. Sorry to
No, no,
interrupt,
no,
but
not like that. Okay, yeah, she's right about that, guys. But hey, but the idea of the
okay.
wizard, I guess we can talk about. Yeah, shout out to Jacob, shout out to Vikram. Man, those are two amazing guys. Hey, but we can't move forward without mentioning some incredible people aside from the ones we just mentioned was Yu Umehara, Adrian Cohen, Fabian Ernie, and she's been on my podcast several times. What a sweetheart. Jonas Wolf, Adrian Thiesenwitz, and Hans Platz.
Yeah,
Those are guest musicians you brought in on this
yeah.
album. I mean, I feel like it was an easy choice to just pick from those musicians who you've worked before in the past. I don't know about you, Umehara. Have you worked with you before
No,
in the
it was
past?
the first time. Yeah,
Yeah, that was the one musician that I was like, okay, I had to look this musician up because she is absolutely amazing. If anybody who doesn't
she's
know who
great.
Yu Umehara is, like you introduced me to somebody new, by the way. So
That's great.
that was one musician, but I feel like you talking about the dream team. You really assembled this crew here together. But the idea of sharing your music, your world with other people who have a similar passion for what you do, I mean, that's got to make it tenfold. I guess it made that album process that much more enjoyable for you, Melissa, because you were able to do it the way you wanted to. You were able to invite the people that you wanted to share your world with. And I don't know if you want to just share some of your thoughts on these amazing musicians, because I don't think people know this entire roster that's going to be playing a part on Cherry Red Apocalypse. But
Yeah, there's one more to mention, by the way. There's Corbinian Benedict, who is playing the bass on all the tracks, who is the bass player of Ad Infinitum.
yeah, okay. Oh my gosh. I knew I was missing somebody. It was from Ad Infinitum, wasn't it? Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
God. Shout out to him too. Was there like a guest moment that surprised you or ended up changing the direction of the song? I'm curious about
Um,
that.
there was, yes, actually, there was one. I needed, so I wrote the song Highs and Lows, and then I sent it to Vic, and he wrote some beautiful keyboard tracks for it. And I was like, in my demo, I also needed some acoustic guitars,
Yeah.
but I didn't want to use my guitars because I'm like, I'm not a guitar player. I don't think it's gonna sound like people would want to. Like, it was not horrible, but I was like, it would sound better if Adrian would record them. So I asked Adrian, and he not only recorded the acoustic guitars, but he also did some extra little things here and there. And he was like, I just did a few things more. Like, I hope you like. And I was just like blown away because it was more than what I expected. So I guess this definitely was one of the moments where I already loved this song before, but I was just like, oh my God, this is even better.
Yeah, that's always a cool thing. I wanted to ask that question, Melissa, because it's always interesting when you have somebody coming in and sharing their thoughts on the album. And it's one thing to have a producer change things up, but it's another thing to have another friend or a musician come in
Yeah.
and provide some feedback. Um, Now I don't want to keep you for too long, but I have to go over this. Okay, I'm gonna name some stuff out really quick. You're gonna know what it is. Fans may not know what it is. All right, I'm gonna go down the list here. I actually love this. Minty Meadows, Emerald
Oh.
Spring, Lilac Sky, Ivory Starlight, Scarlet Blaze, Silver Haze, Amber Gleam. You're probably wondering, oh my God, Sonny, what are those names? If you guys don't know, that is Melissa's amazing Patreon. The fan connection that you have had. I have talked about this already in our conversation earlier about the camaraderie you have, the connection you have with the fans. You've shared a lot of behind the scenes content on Patreon.
Mhm.
Melissa, I mean, we've done shout outs already. Shout out to your fans. Has involving the fan base into something like this that you've never done before in the past, has it changed on how you approach releasing music?
Um, so the biggest difference, I would say, first of all the people in my Patreon community and also people who are just supporting the band outside of the Patreon community
Yeah.
have been so connected with everything that either my bands or me have been doing in a way that just makes it feel like we're achieving something. Like you have this support that is so warm and um we have those people traveling to our shows. We see them,
Yes.
making friends groups and going from, for example, from the UK to somewhere in Germany to see our shows, and you see them show at the meet and greet as well. And it's not something that we take for granted because it's a lot of commitment. But still, we have those people around us who really support us and make us feel like, like you're doing great. You're doing something good. You're doing something that's reaching people, that's touching people in a certain way. Um, so this has definitely um, given us and me in that process of like releasing a solo record a lot of courage, and even more so since since I've announced it, because people, it feels like they are a part of this release in a way that is very special. And
Hmm.
they were like, I told them I'm choosing to release this independently, so basically the success of this album will depend on how much people love it or hate it. and from that moment on, I've seen so many people being like, we will be there, we will share the stuff, I will, you know I have a playlist with friends, I will put the songs there, things like, you know you say that it takes a village, and it's little things here and
Yeah.
there, and that create it. And it's really this, and you see the support, you see like how connected to it people are. And then the length that people would go to support it. Like, for example, I haven't announced it yet publicly, but I've announced it on Patreon. I have a release party on the release day, which is also my birthday,
Gosh,
which
what
is
a
like, it's gonna be a
I'm gonna have to
big
fly
party.
out there now. This is crazy. You're setting this up for me. Like anyway, go ahead. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, here's the because I'm doing this in a very intimate setting, which is we're going to be doing this in Manchester in a bar. There's about like 60 people who can join, so it's very like, we're going to listen to the album, we're going to do meet and greet, pictures, whatever. And I was just like, I'm going to do this in Manchester because um, first of all, then Morton can also be part of it because Amaranth is playing that day in Manchester. And then there's a lot of the UK
Stop. Oh my
people.
gosh. It just keeps going.
Yeah, there's a lot of the people from the UK who've been traveling a lot to wherever we were playing. So I was like, you know what? I'm bringing this to the UK so that this time they don't have to travel. Anyway, and then all of a sudden, I think almost 40 people signed up, and they're not all from the UK. So I was just like, oh my God, this is people traveling from Germany, from the US, from everywhere to
Oh
to
man.
celebrate together. And this is something like, I'm like, I don't know why I deserve this or if I do, but I'm really, really touched by it.
Hey, sorry, my mind is racing with that entire response.
Oh,
It's
sorry.
no, no. Hey, Melissa, it's I had this conversation with a friend not too long ago about how I didn't do it enough, but celebrating your successes along the way, it's so important, you know? And I love the way you're so humble about your music, Melissa, because it you care about the product, but it also shows that how much you have grown. And that's like a thing that I'm repeating, but it can't be repeated enough because anybody who's listening to this conversation, and I'm gonna air this interview probably a little, maybe around Christmas, just to give your fans a little gift in a way. But anyone who's listening to this story about you, I hope it encourages them to follow whatever path they're on because you're seeing the results, right? You're seeing the
Yeah.
people come out. You may turn around and say, I don't deserve this, but that shows how much you care for what you've built. You have so much dedication to your craft. You're seeing the people come out and your music is actually not just great, but the lyricism, it's connecting to them. Like people who may have a bad day, they will turn to Melissa or Ad Infinitum or any music that you're involved in, and it's gonna change how they view life. So you're doing something for other people that you may not have even seen, and now you're seeing proof of that. People or strangers just coming out. They're not even strangers anymore at this point. They're part of who you are. We have this thing in the U.S. You probably know this too, but like in football, right? We have the fans. We call them the 12th man. Not we, just in general. There's 11
Mm.
men on the field. The 12th men are the fans.
Yeah.
For you, that is your version of it because the fans are also a part of this process. They feel like they belong in this world with you. It's a rewarding thing for them too because it's like a family in a way. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit touchy here, but it's proof. You get what I'm saying? Like that the
Yeah.
relationship you have and and people who are wondering those names that I called out, the Amber Gleam and the Silver Haze, what are those? Those are different levels of Patreon memberships that you can get. And I highly recommend whoever's listening to subscribe to those because you're missing out on stuff that Melissa is not going to be putting out in public. Like you can find so much stuff that goes on under just what's on the surface, and there's so much more to it. But your response right there about the fans, I really appreciate it because what did I say? We're also fans of the music, right? I feel like you're also representing me in a way which, doesn't get talked about often. A lot of other people are listening to. So, I feel like that's something we just keep going down the rabbit hole. But I think it's amazing what you've created and give yourself a pat on the back. I really do mean that because you've come a long way. Um, but
Thank you.
I know we're gonna wrap it up here pretty soon. I'm thinking about one of the cool things about Ad Infinitum, and one of the cool things about that show that you performed here on 2 years ago. Even I want to give Morton's band a shout out, Amaranth, when they're on stage. You guys have this aesthetic element, like this cinematic thing you do on stage. I can't help but think how it would look like if you take this Cherry Red Apocalypse on tour. I'm just imagining you on stage with a giant tree or something like a cherry blossom, like in the middle, and the you have your band surrounding whoever you have coming on stage performing live, and you just approach the middle, spotlight on you. This is coming from a movie fan, all right? I went to film school for 3 years, so I'm thinking of things like that.
It's
But
not too far from what
I
I
don't
have in
know.
mind.
Yeah, I don't know if you've thought about that yet,
Yeah.
but man,
Yeah.
can you imagine though? Can I imagine? Like that's just the visual identity and aesthetic. I wonder if because the visual identity for this album is very striking. So like building an aesthetic side and building the solo world, you've created that. It's almost like Tron. Like I'm plugged into this new virtual world that I never knew existed just months ago. So,
Yeah, I mean,
whoa, sorry. I'm like
it
talking
was
so much now. I
no, no,
apologize.
it's all
Take the
right.
floor, please.
No, no, it's very interesting what you mentioned because it kind of goes close to what I have in mind for whenever this will be on stage. And
I
as
love
you
this.
probably saw with the with the music videos, the aesthetics, the designs, the artworks, and all that. I it's very important for me to visually make it stand out in a certain way that connects also with the way the album is crafted and the way I am. So yeah, definitely this is something like that is something that I want to do.
Okay, two more questions as we finish this off. You knew this was coming. Do you have a favorite song?
Um,
Ooh, don't
okay,
know.
the
It's
first one
like,
that comes to my mind, I don't know if it's my favorite song, but the one that comes to my mind right now is Misery Business by Paramore.
wait, I was gonna ask, hold on a second. As I'm going through here, now that I'm thinking about it, can you give me a, hold on. I have it right here. Um, what is your favorite song on this album?
On my album?
Yeah. Do you have it? Do you have a favorite song on Cherry Red Apocalypse?
I'm not entirely sure. I think it might be Highs and Lows.
Okay.
Um,
I have not heard that one yet. So,
or Afterglow.
okay.
Either Highs and Lows or Afterglow. Yeah.
I had a feeling you were gonna say Snow on Mars for some reason. I don't know why.
Ah, that's funny. No,
No,
actually,
because that's such a unique way to close off an album. Um and I think it was perfect because I can't wait to hear the album in full because I'm a monster to Snow on Mars. You kind of teased it a little bit because you released that and then you released the first and last track of the
yeah,
album. It's
yeah.
not common to do that.
No.
So as a journalist, I start to think of, okay, what are the weaves and pathways of an album like this from where it starts to where it finishes? Now I'm so just, I mean, January 23rd can't get here soon enough. But um, one last question as we finish things off. Um, this was an interesting one. I never had a chance to ask Morton this, but I'm going to ask you. I have started to ask this question to my guests recently, and it always sparks like they start to think like there's so many things going on, right? Um, from first off, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for doing this with me. We
No,
chatted
thank you for having
months
me.
ago. We
Thank you so
chatted.
much.
No, seriously, like it's cool. Like we had this chemistry now, you and I, when we talk on these conversations. We didn't get enough time last time, was it 4 years ago? Because I know we had like time strengths, and I think
Yeah.
we talked only for like 20 minutes. But um, you know, for coming on here and sharing your perspective and the fans that you have met throughout this process, from when you started to where you are now, and the relationship you have built with yourself, the music, Morton, even just bands and even journalists in general. It's so many people you have met worldwide. And I can't wait to see where you go from this point, Melissa, because I feel like this is such an important chapter for you that there's so much to be heard down the road. Like I can't even wait for volume two of your solo album whenever the next album comes out. I know you're smiling about this because I know you planned it. There's no way that's not happening. Um, but um, if you were to tell your I want to guess you started all this like in 2012, maybe even before that when you played your first show with the band, right? Yeah, it's crazy how much I know about you. It's insane. Um, this is called fans. If you were to tell your 2012 self advice from this version that's sitting in front of me, what would it be?
Trust your guts.
Yeah,
Trust your guts no matter what people say, no matter what um, you know, there's so many times where I had a feeling about something and I doubted myself only to realize later on that I was right.
it's crazy. It's crazy how that works out, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Until like after the fact.
I
But
would just tell her to be confident and to just not second guess herself and to just also see her value and what she brings to the table because that was something that I really struggled with
yeah.
and that was something that was taken advantage of and that I had to learn. And I think that's yeah, trust your guts, I would tell her.
Yeah, and it's a learning process, right? And
Yeah,
you can it begs the question, oh, would you go back and change anything about yourself? Maybe yes, but it wouldn't have shaped me into who I am
exactly.
today. Like I have instances where, yeah, did I want to change that moment about myself back in like 2010 or 2015 or whatever
Yeah.
time frame it is? But if I haven't gone through that growth process, or maybe haven't if I haven't gone through those trials or tribulations, it wouldn't have taught me. You always learn things the hard way, right? There's
Yeah,
nothing easy about any of this.
that's
So
absolutely exactly what you said. Like there are some things that I thought, yeah, I wish I could have gone back to the situation and reacted differently or done things differently. Yeah, but this made me go through that, which made me what I am today. So
yeah,
difficult to say. Yeah.
well said. I'm getting choked up here. But anyway, Melissa, thank you again from, bottom of my heart. Nothing but the best for you, for Morton. Tell him I said hi from here on out. We will stay in touch. Like I said, I'll probably drop this actually around Christmas. Now that I'm thinking about it, that's a
That's
great idea.
perfect.
Yeah. We can even collaborate on that too if you'd like. But
Yeah.
um, do you have any last words? Anything else you'd like to promote as far as Cherry Red Apocalypse? I don't know if you have a new music video coming out, but
Well, I just
whatever you want to say, the
yeah,
floor is
first
yours.
of all, I want to thank you because it's really nice to be able to talk about this. It's actually the first interview I give for this record.
No way. Are you
Yeah, yeah.
serious?
Yeah, yeah.
Holy,
Absolutely.
okay.
I have a few more planned, but this one is the first one because I
The
wanted
best
to
one.
wait until we were done with the touring of the year and all that. So yeah, this is really cool to kick it off with you. Um, so I'm really grateful, and yeah, no, I'm just looking forward to what's ahead and to see how people will take this album. And yeah, there's one more video coming before the album release, and it's one that I had to work hard for.
Uh-huh.
How to say that to make it happen because there's a bit of a twist, but I won't
Um,
say more.
there's so much. You tease so much. It's insane. Like I've never heard this much teasing, but I like it. That's what you need. W will it, do you know if it'll release around Christmas time or before the new
uh,
year? Or are you waiting until
After closer
after New Year?
to the album, yeah,
Okay. Okay, got it. Okay, so close to your birthday then. But
yeah.
I mean, I guess I could say happy early birthday, but I know we'll probably chat before that at some point before the album drop. I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna plug in your Patreon link and whenever it airs, because we're not only gonna put this on YouTube, we're gonna put it Spotify, iTunes, everywhere, so everyone
Oh,
can hear it.
cool. That's nice.
So you can share it with literally the whole world. Um,
Nice.
but I'm gonna put the Patreon link down there, and everyone who's listening, this is the amazing Melissa Bonny. Cherry Red Apocalypse drops January 23rd. I don't know if their vinyl's still available. I bought one,
There's
so if you missed out, that's on you.
a
Um,
few
uh,
black vinyls are still there,
okay,
I think.
I think, and you're also signing cards. I saw.
Yeah, yeah. I
Well,
signed
right? Did I give that
hundreds of
away?
cards.
Is your hand tired?
I'm all right. I'm all right.
That's what you get for releasing amazing music. All right. That was the but yeah, so make sure you do me and Melissa a favor, everyone buy the album because these artists, these bands can't do it without your help. And I'm gonna say it anyway. I know, it goes without saying, but I'm gonna say it anyway because I'm very old fashioned, Melissa. I like keeping the hard copies. I mean, digital's fine, right? We're in the digital age, but I still buy like Blu-ray movies, for example. I will
Oh.
buy albums, I will buy vinyls, merch, everything that comes with releasing new music because it reminds you of something, So, who knows if freaking Terminator happens in real life and everything shuts down, we'll still we'll still have the hard copy.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
um, anyway, thank you again, Melissa. We'll stay in touch, everyone. You can check this out on interviewunderfire.com. Check us out on all major podcast streams out there. And stay in touch, Melissa. We'll talk again. All right. Much
Yeah,
love from
thank
the
you
bottom
so
of my
much.
heart. I'll talk to you later. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to Interview Under Fire podcast. If you guys liked what you heard, please subscribe and share our channel. And please leave a 5-star review, as that helps us tremendously. If you'd like to check out more, visit www.interviewunderfire.com or our social media channels on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And finally, we want to thank you all for the support you've been giving us. Keep it burning.